Hello, everyone, and welcome to a pre-modern show match. This is the pre-modern 64 deck Gauntlet. We are in the round of 32. Tonight, we will be showing the match between Flint Espel on Deadguy Ale and Tom Metelsky on Counter Rebels. I'm Michael Hoyp. I'm joined tonight with Bob Baker. Say hi, Bob.
Hi, Bob.
And we have the Deadguy Ale deck list up. This is the deck that Flint is playing. Let's go over what this deck has and what we maybe think how it's going to interact with the other deck. So basically, Deadguy Ale is a black-white aggro control. You might call it mid range, but it has a lot of disruptive elements with hand disruption. There's Duress, Hypnotic Specter, and Gerrard's Verdict, and then some value cards with Phyrexian Arena, and then some removal with Swords to Plowshares and Vindicate. And then I mean it's really just kind of low to the can come out low to the ground if it has a dark ritual into Hypnotic Specter or Duress and Nantuko Shade or Phyrexian Arena, and kind of can play a different game plan depending on its draw. But it's kind of it just wants to have a little bit of a board presence and then disrupt its opponent just enough, and then kind of eke out card advantage to take the game.
Yeah, I think all these cards are just really efficient cards. Efficient on mana, efficient on card advantage, and you're just kind of like basically just trying to like outvalue your opponent and then finish it up with like an Nantuko Shade and a bunch of swamps or a Hypnotic Specter, Exalted Angel, that kind of a thing.
Yep.
I don't think this is like. I know it's not The Rock, but it kind of reminds me of that a little bit.
Yeah, it does have a little bit of the same feel.
Yeah.
Some things to note of I've done some casts on different Dead Guy Ale lists. Some differences that are in this version is there are two copies of Masticore and two copies of Exalted Angel in the main. That has it a little more higher power end than a lot of the Dead Guy Ale lists that I've seen. Also, another thing to note is there are three copies of Wasteland in the main for a little bit more disruption. Though one thing to note is we've kind of touched on the mana base of the Deadguy Ale deck is a little bit fragile, and adding three Wasteland might be troublesome in some cases. But obviously, having that Wasteland in this kind of tempo disruption-y type deck can be really powerful.
Yeah, he only has 8 white sources, so I could see it being hard to flip up an Exalted Angel from time to time. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I miscounted. There's 11 here.
yeah. There's
But
three
still.
planes, four Tainted Fields, one City of Brass, so that's eight, and then uh,
There's only no, it's 3
one Tainted
planes,
Field, four Caves
City
of
of Brass,
Koilos,
4 caves, 2 gemstone
two
mines, and
Gemstone
Tainted
Mines.
Field.
So that's yeah, 11. So yeah, it might be a little bit difficult to flip up, but um,
I think otherwise he shouldn't have trouble casting spells here,
yeah,
and I think a lot of these cards line up pretty good against what Tom has in his deck as well. So if we want to take a look at that other deck before we,
yeah. Let's jump over. So okay, I have the Counter Rebels list up. So what this deck is looking to do is start out with a Rebel Searcher. So that's Remosian Sergeant or Defiant Vanguard, Defiant Falcon, sorry, or Lin Civi. So all these creatures have the ability to tap a certain amount of mana and find a rebel with converted mana cost of one less of that amount you paid. So after it gets those in play, it can play a really kind of like a draw go style of deck. It kind of turns into like a mini control deck. But it's able to, if it doesn't use its mana to counter a spell on the opponent's turn, it can use that mana to go get another creature and build up a board advantage. So the other main element, other than those counter spells, there's a little bit of removal with Swords of Plowshares, but then the Standstill is a card that really fits into this plan. If you do have a board presence and your opponent doesn't have a strong board presence, then putting a Standstill can really put you in an advantage because you're still able to play your game. You're still able to play more
yeah,
lands and then use the Rebels' abilities and further develop your board while your opponent's going to fall further and further behind.
yeah, for sure. I think in this particular matchup that the standstill is going to be the key card here. Any one of these, rebels on their own is kind of not that big of a deal, and there's a lot of tools in the dead guy deck to really, efficiently deal with creatures. We got 4 swords, 4 vindicates, and even like Gerard's verdict, while not the greatest. in this matchup. You know, still a 2-for-1. And but I think he's gonna have a real hard time beating anything on board and then adding a standstill to it. It's gonna be, I think that's gonna be a tough ask. But
Okay.
otherwise, I think, you know, pretty even matchup. And I think it'll come down, I think, a lot to the draws that each player has.
All right. We're going to be jumping over the match. Do you want to let them know they can get started?
Yeah, for sure.
Mr. Lamp, thank you for the follow. We appreciate it. All right. So we have our players set up. We have Flint on the left and then Tom on the right. And the card I have up right now is Linsivvy, and that's kind of the marquee card for Rebels a lot of the time, and it is definitely very powerful. It has both the ability to search Rebels and then also put them back into your deck. So
looks like Tom's on the play here, leading off with Mother Runes.
Yes. So and creature combat actually definitely comes into play. Something like Nantuko Shade. If a Mother of Runes is online, then it could have.
We got a swords here, so it's going to be at 19 to 21 here, life totals. That's good because an uncontested Mother on turn 1, I think, is one of the best ways for Tom to stay in this. He's got a lot of ways to. Looks like we got a Ramazonian Sergeant here.
Yeah, let me bring that one up.
Flint's got a lot of ways to deal with the creatures in play, but the mob makes that really hard, having to have 2 answers.
Yeah, there aren't that many removal spells out of the Deadguy Ale deck, and like it's hard if you're gonna have to like swords or Vindicate and then respond by a swords, it'd be really hard. The one card that would really shine is Masticore, that colorless source of damage and easily can shoot off a Mother of Runes, so that one might come into play. And it is good against a number of the creatures that are in Tom's deck.
Can we talk about for a minute how was it Rebels and then Mercenaries? How Mercenaries got like hecka shafted here, while Tom decides what to discard to this Gerrard's verdict. Yeah, Rebels go up the chain and Mercenaries go down the chain, and like, wow, just like.
Well, even if you just look at the card, like I don't even, maybe it's because of that ability, but I don't even know if there are any good Mercenaries. I guess the Rebels aren't that impressive on their own.
No, they're not. But it's just the fact that you can, you know, just spend mana to like get more every time, but you know, looks like we're discarding a Mana Leak and an Adarkar Wastes, and that's going to be 3 life.
So Flint took a damage to cast that and then gained 3.
We should be 21 all right now.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I have him at. Yeah.
Okay.
So one thing that the Rebels deck is, it is pretty mana heavy or hungry, that like it has so many mana sinks, and it like really needs to, it really can take use of having all the lands in play, because if you're tapping with Linsivvy, you can go up the chain, or if you need to tap and then also have a counter spell up if there's like an end of turn removal spell that you're worried about.
Yeah. So we'll probably see.
The next one he should get is Defiant Falcon, I think.
Yeah, I was just saying we should see a Defiant Falcon come online here. Just 2 cards left, and this is what I was talking about. You know, the Deadguy deck, all the cards real efficient, and I think these guys are just going to be trading cards back and forth, and it's going to really come down to, I think.
Yeah, but like if kind of as we talked about, but even if Tom's hand gets completely discarded, he still has that engine with the Rebel chain. So
for sure, that's what I'm saying. Like if just imagine like Tom untaps and plays a standstill. Like, what's Flint supposed to do?
He's just gonna have to break it. He's gonna Vindicate it. That's probably what I would do.
A strong maneuver.
Yes.
To be sure. All right. Flint, after going deeper to the tank, plays his swamp.
There's the Phyrexian Arena. So he thinks he might be considering is, I mean, he could have different 3-drops that he wants to deploy, or if he's saying, am I willing to let this Phyrexian Arena get countered? Because it definitely is like the draw engine of the black-white deck, and is very powerful.
Looks like we got no permission from Tom, so we should see a Defiant Falcon here, and then
He does have the option of getting Whip Quarter if he wants to just try
seems
try to
seems
beat down.
unreasonable.
I mean, it's not the worst card. I do like a good Whip Quarter, but
Yeah. I don't. I'm not saying that he's not gonna never want to whip quarter, but I think if you get his game plan online, this Falcon I think gets him up to Lin Civvy if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, he would need
So
it. Yeah, if he has another land, then yeah.
yeah, I mean you got to keep chaining him up. So
Sure.
it's also not like there's anything in play to tap at this point in time. So
Just forward thinking. If he's gonna play I guess Masticore is probably not. Though a 2/2 would be a lot harder to kill. Then I
okay.
guess if you have 4 mana, it's gonna kill that either way.
I'm guessing this means we don't have a land in hand for Tom.
Uh,
Coming
yeah,
in here. What is this for 2? So down to 19 for
yeah,
4.
or yeah, that he's definitely committing. Okay, he's
Okay, here's a standstill.
so I was gonna say that he's committing his mana. Otherwise, he could leave up the sergeant.
See, and I think this is a rough spot for Flint. I mean, even with the arena in play, down to 18 here off the arena. He's gonna have to break the standstill.
Yeah, because yeah, if you just don't do anything, then obviously
Yeah.
Tom's board just gets better and better and better. So that standstill is most likely just going to turn into 3 more cards for Tom right now.
Yeah. And like the thing is, like after you break the standstill, there's no guarantee that whatever you broke it with even does anything, right? I mean,
I think the best card
Tom
I think you could
has
have is
2 mana open. He could just have a mana leak in his hand.
well he has it is a coastal tower. I was thinking those are 2 planes. Yep.
No. I mean, he's already ditched 1 mana leak, so it's not that likely to be a mana leak, but so what?
I mean the other thing that Flint can do is if he has a Duress, he can use it in combination. So he can lead with a Duress, break the standstill, draw out a counterspell, and then try and resolve a threat. But the problem is like the 3-drops that he have aren't that impressive. They just, I mean, Vindicate, Nantuko Shade, Hypnotic Specter is probably the best one in this spot, but it will get outclassed. I mean, just the Rebel Chain going up will outclass the 2/2 flyer. Hey Andrew, how's it going? I hope you're enjoying your night off of streaming, that you can actually watch some Magic instead of always be behind on your stream. If you guys aren't followers of old school Kurt Ape, Andrew does a lot of streaming. He's been streaming a ton of these matches from the 64 deck Gauntlet.
The old judge of me wants to ask Flint to make a play.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Standstill trigger goes on the stack.
Dark Ritual is what he's leading with.
Yeah.
So is that ever? I mean, you have to. I'm trying to think. I mean, it's not like you can use that as bait.
So, I mean, if you're trying to play around Mana Leak, you could.
Okay.
Okay. Sure. Oh, thumbs up! Wow, no permission. Okay.
Okay, so he took two damage for the white.
Down to 16 here.
But he gets rewarded with an Exalted Angel, which is.
And then immediately gets swords back up to 20.
Okay.
Although looks like they don't have the same life.
I was gonna say I had him at 15, then gaining 4, 19, but they have him at 20.
Yeah. Well, Tom had him at 21 for a second there, but it looks like they figured it out. So it looks like 20 all around. Yeah. Oh, did we miss it? He had to take a damage from the City of Brass.
Yeah, I took him down too because he had to take a damage for the caves too.
Okay.
Because he was at 17, right? And then he went down to 15. Yeah. And then he should have gained 4.
That exchange for Flint was just so bad. He spent, 6 mana, 2 cards, and he got nothing to show for it.
I mean, I don't think that makes the play wrong, though. I think like you have to.
Yeah. I know. I'm just saying, like, that's what I mean when I say like.
Oh man! So the hand is 2 Swords of Plowshares and a Mana Leak.
Yeah, that's
interesting that he takes the. I guess yeah. If you take the Mana Leak, then maybe you have like something like a Gerrard's Verdict that can take those swords out. Because the Mana Leak, eventually you're going to be able to play around.
Yeah.
Oh,
Plus, I
okay.
think like
Flint's now at
just
18. Yeah, so he was at 19 and then he went down from the Phyrexian Arena. Okay.
Mhm. But yeah, I think like also just like the spells that you want to stick in play, or that you actually want to like get value out of, are gonna be like it's gonna be easier to attack them with Mana Leak, I think. Right,
Yeah.
like Flint's gonna need something, or not? Yeah, Flint's gonna need something to break up this like rebel chain, um, and like Tom only has 2 Falcons, so like uh, you know,
Yeah, that is a way. Like if you take out those two, then the chain is broken. You
right,
need to draw Lin Civi and then yeah.
right, like obviously he could just draw one of the higher cost rebels or whatever, but
Yeah, so we see Wasteland took out the coastal tower, and then now Flint is trying to cast a
Vindicate. He's trying to
Vindicate.
keep him off blue mana. Interesting.
Okay.
Do you agree with that? I don't think I would have attacked the blue mana there. I mean, first of all, you can see his hand. He has two. He has no blue cards in it.
Well, I
So
mean, so you're just saying you're going for one of the creatures that gets replaced though. So it's kind of like if you're
yeah,
obviously if you're attacking the mana, it's going to be the blue mana. But
I guess if you have um, more Vindicates in hand, and you're gonna like get him far enough down that he can't activate any of the rebels, that could be.
I mean, I think it's a reasonable like something that you have to try and do. I guess. Because
Yeah,
what is his route to victory otherwise? Like if he's not doing anything and the game just keeps going, the he's just gonna fall further and further behind. And the Deadguy Ale does not do a good job of catching up.
yeah, that sounds true. We're gonna go down to 14 here, up to 3 cards in hand.
His Flint should have taken a damage for Arena, right?
He did. He's down to 14.
Okay. So yeah, with this Lin Civi, it is definitely very troublesome if the game keeps going on because it can get some of the creatures it'll get will like Remosian Sky Marshal, which is a 5 mana 3/3 flyer rebel, and then Jovial Queen, which is a 6 mana
So
4/7
4/7
vigilance.
vigilance, I think. Yeah, Jetted Dragoons or something like that. That's what it kind of reminds me of. All right, so we got a path. He took a damage to play path here, or not path. Swords. Sorry, it's been a while since I the cards were this old. Um, I have to imagine this is targeting Lin Civi here, right?
Yeah, but the problem is it's just like
Can't Lin Civi just go get Lin Civi?
yes with the new rules, yeah, and then you can choose the new one.
Yeah, it's not mass block. You can't preemptively lock people out of their Lin Civis by putting your own in play.
Yeah, you won't get any life though.
I'm sure he's absolutely gutted by the.
All right, so we see a Hypnotic Specter.
Yeah. See, I'm like, I think it's like it's going to be a battle of material. I just don't know why you would want to vindicate one of those lands.
Well, because if you just take out a creature, then it's kind of just like you save a point of life.
Yeah, but it's not like there's infinite um, material that like Tom can just keep
So
like.
you're just saying I'm going to
picking
go
up.
for the 2-drop and try and cut off the chain that way.
Yeah, I mean, like you're gonna have to kill a couple of Lin Civis along the way, but you're you have the arena in play, so you're out carding Tom, right? Like at this point, it took a while, but at this point, he's caught back up from the standstill that he was behind on. Um,
Why
and
why is Tom at 23 according to Flint?
that's a good question.
I think Tom still has him at 21, so that doesn't matter. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Hard
I'm
to
always
see.
nervous about. I don't. I feel like I have been disagreement with their life totals like most of the games. So
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Okay, so Wasteland takes out the Adarkar Wastes. So yeah,
Is Lin Civi? I think Lin Civi's
it's a 1/3.
as a 1/3. I was gonna
But
say.
you didn't gain life anyways because of
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say maybe he gained the life from that, but I think Flint's wrong here with his life total. I'm pretty sure that Tom's right. He's a 21.
So yes, that's a Ramosian Sky Marshal.
Ramasonian.
I guess he.
Ramosian.
I don't know how to exactly say
I'm
it.
not sure how to say it either.
I've always in my head it was always Ramosian. Um. Yep.
I always said Ramsonian, but that's clearly wrong now that I look at the word.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if that Vindicate had been pointed at a creature, there'd just be like one less creature on the board, right? And the rebels themselves, outside of the the Sky Marshal and the
Jovial Queen.
4/7,
Yep.
are not that exciting. You know what I mean? They're not that
No.
scary of creatures. If I was Flint there, I might have considered pumping that guy one to gain a couple extra life.
Yeah.
He must have another. What's he gonna fall? A Vindicate? Oh no, Morph. Okay.
Morph. Okay.
I wonder what it could be.
Yeah, but
it could be anything.
Do you know what
Even
Tom? Do you know what Tom could get?
I don't know what could Tom get.
A whip quarter. Yes, yes, we've done it.
I mean, like obviously you're gonna get the whip quarter at this point, right?
But, well, it's great against the Exalted Angel. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the perfect answer. I don't know. This card I feel like is the perfect power level, and it's still not. Right. It's still not good enough.
Flint packing it up.
Yes. All right.
Yeah.
Rebels taking a game.
Yeah.
Let's switch over to our deck screen so we can talk about sideboarding.
Yeah. So
first deck I have up is the Deadguy Ale.
Yeah.
Are there any cards that look really appealing, or any cards that seem really bad in this matchup?
I don't think you want the Disenchant. That seems pretty bad to me.
Yeah, it's just doesn't do anything against standstill, and I don't think there are any other targets.
Yeah, but outside of that, I don't think there's really anything I want to take out. And I don't think he had you could take the Diabolic Edict, I guess, and put that in there. That seems fine.
I think I bring in Engineered Plague, just name Human, or you could name Human because that also gets Mother of Runes, or you could name Rebel. That would get the Falcon. So I guess I think either way, I think that card's reasonable.
It's not super exciting, right?
I mean,
yeah. I guess he has a decent number of 1/1s. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I mean, if a sequencing goes like Tom goes Sergeant into Falcon, and you can go like Duress into Engineered Plague, and then just wipe out his you reset the board. Like since the Deadguy Ale just can't catch up that well, I think it's
that
reasonable.
Makes sense to me. You've convinced me. I'm convinced.
I mean, you bringing all three, or are you taking out? Like, I don't know if Gerrard's Verdict is the best in this matchup because we talked about it. Like once a card comes down, that's kind of the little card advantage engine, and having the cards in hand isn't necessarily the biggest deal.
Yeah, I mean, if you really want to take out the Verdict, which you could convince me. I mean, I think you could go either way on Verdict. It's still a pretty efficient 2-for-1, and could gain you a couple life, but it's definitely not the most impactful top deck. Mm-hmm. And I think this games are gonna come down to top decks a decent amount of the time.
Yeah.
So you could convince me that you want to take some to all of those out.
Yeah. I mean, you could almost convince me too that the negators come in, that you just want to try end the game quicker, and feel like you don't have the long game advantage. I mean, I don't think it's great because there's creatures to get in the way, and there's Swords of Plowshares to remove it, but sometimes you just might have to have things line up if you don't feel the matchup's that good.
I think if you're going to bring in the Plagues, which I think you convinced me you do, then I think you also want to bring in the Enlightened Tutor, because I think Arena is like one of your better cards.
Yes.
So I think take out Disenchant and Gerrard's verdicts for Engineered Plague and Enlightened Tutor, and then maybe um, throw a Diabolic Edict in there or Phyrexian Negator if you
Yeah.
wanted to
So
take the last verdict.
I mean, I think it's kind of changing your game plan a little bit, but like I don't think it's like a big upgrade for the Deadguy Ale with these sideboard cards, but I think
Yeah.
it gets a little better. I think I'm not even 100% sure. Now we'll talk about the counter rebels, and I mean we talked about the engineered plague so much, and there's two copies of shared triumph in the sideboard, and those might just be coming in because they're good, or might be coming in to counteract the engineered plague. Um,
I like Meddling Mage quite a
really,
lot. I think, yeah. I think
what
they're like,
what are you planning on naming usually?
I think there are like so few cards that like you really care about getting played here that, like, obviously you don't want to play Shade, but like whatever. But like a Meddling Mage on like Phyrexian Arena, for example, is like I think a big game.
Okay,
Um, you know, I mean, I could be wrong, but I kind of like the Meddling Mage here. I think the Dismantling Blow also, especially if you think,
like engineered plagues coming in.
yeah, if you think Plague is coming in, but also like I said, I think Arena is Flint's best card, so
Hmm.
like I don't think it's unreasonable. You probably bring in the Pro Black
Yes.
Rebel
Yep.
for sure.
Yeah.
Um, maybe Meddling Mage is a stretch. I mean, like,
What cards do you take out?
I mean, you're not gonna like what I say, but like a Whip Quarters probably. No, I'm not 100% sure actually.
There are already two disenchants in the main, so if we're talking about the dismantling blow, I don't know how heavy you want to go on the
Yeah,
enchantment removal. But yeah, it's tricky. I mean, like I don't know.
there's not a lot of space in here. I
You
don't
could
think you want to cut the Mother of Ruins.
could you cut like counter spells if especially the way you saw Flint go after your blue mana.
Yeah, that's probably reasonable. You could probably cut the Cho-Manno.
Yeah, I don't even
Uh,
remember what that guy does.
it's just
It's a
immune
4 mana
to
2/2 that you get protection from a color, right?
no, it's immune to damage.
Oh, okay.
Um, you could maybe cut the Defiant Vanguard. It's kind of the worst like Rebel Searcher. Um, at the very least, I think you're gonna upgrade one of these disenchants to Dismantling Blow. Like
You think
that's
that's
an
just an
easy.
upgrade?
I think so. Yeah, I don't think you need. I don't think you want three of them in your deck. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
you want three of that effect in your deck. It's kind of like because sometimes he's not going to have a target, and you don't really want that. Um, but I do think you
Oh,
want
you
some
can
of
let them
that.
know they can start. I think it looks like they're waiting. Um,
Yeah, they're ready. They're
yeah,
ready to go.
yeah, you can
So,
tell them to start.
so I guess we'll see. We can ask them after
Mm-hmm.
what they brought in, who they agree with. But we're gonna have Flint on the play here.
So Flint
Ritual
Mulligan once.
Masticore. You're saying you want to take Ritual
Oh
Masticore out?
no,
I
no,
think
that's they were talking about a
Rich.
sequence of plays earlier in the previous game.
Oh, okay. I see.
Turn one,
Behind on chat.
turn one
Okay.
Duress.
Did he hit anything? It looks like he whiffed.
So 3 lands, a Lin Civi. It looks like the Sky Marshal, and that's Sergeant, right? Or is
Yeah,
that a?
yeah.
Couldn't
Yep.
tell if it was a Whipcord or a Sergeant.
No,
Okay,
it's a sergeant. You can't feel good about that.
no.
But did we have any mulligans here?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Flint
nobody.
Flint Mulligan to 6.
Okay, that's rough.
Yeah, I mean I think he needs Engineered Plague.
Yeah, plague would be good here. I think.
Would you name Human or would you name Rebel?
I think I would name human
Yeah, I
with the
mean,
first one.
it actually is like a pretty interesting choice. I mean, I think obviously if you see like a falcon in his hand, you would
Yeah.
name Rebel, but
If Flint doesn't play an arena or a plague here, I think he's gonna have a bad time.
yeah, I agree that it's going to be a very difficult for him.
This is where he flash that you're gonna have a bad time meme up on the screen.
I'm not familiar with that one. I don't have that one ready, obviously.
Man,
Maybe next time.
oh boy, if this is not targeting the sergeant, I'm gonna Ugh.
So mana
He's
denial
got
plan.
2 lands in his hand, Flint.
Well, well, I mean, he has a Wasteland in play, so he's just going for this mana denial plan.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're not a fan of it?
I'm not a fan of it.
I mean, I think it's reasonable if you just feel like you're not going to win otherwise. Because like if he just kills the sergeant, then he's just going to have he has a Lin Civvy, and he has more
All right.
cards that actually like.
I mean, if he's got another Vindicate and he blows up another island right here, I guess I'm more on board than I was before. But
Well, he has a Wasteland.
yeah, but 2 basics in play on Tom's side right now, and
Flint should be at 17, right? He's been attacked twice and he took a damage from the
yeah,
caves.
he agrees.
Well, no, now he's at 16.
Oh, I think you guys are right. Yeah.
All right. Well, you can message them in chat. Flint's taken. Well, he should be at. Now he should be at 15, right? He took 3 from his lands and 2 from the sergeant. Now he got swords. He should be at 17. All right. All
Yep.
these life,
All right,
all these life things.
Everyone agrees.
All right.
Okay, we figured it out. See, if he had just vindicated the rebel, and then he could have pathed the Lin Civi, and now like.
Well, I mean, it's possible he didn't have the Swords of Plowshares in his hand, like when he made that line.
That's possible, I suppose.
But yeah, I guess like if.
But
Yeah.
what like the cards that you're gonna draw are all gonna be cards that help you deal with creatures, right?
Other than Wasteland, yeah.
Yeah, you know. I think just given the types of decks that we're looking at, I think the games are going to be kind of long and protracted, and Tom's gonna draw lands, and so like, I don't think you can like aggressively go after mana like that if you don't have something on the board to like really punish him, right? Like,
Sure.
if he had a Hypnotic Specter in play or a Nantuko Shade, that's one thing, but
I guess I didn't realize that Morph was in play.
yeah, he played it last turn.
Okay. Well, that's I guess a way to win at least.
He's got 1 card left. Yeah, I mean, like, Tom doesn't have a lot of time to try to answer this.
Well, he has. I mean, he has the Whip Quarter. It always comes down to the Whip Quarter, right?
That's true. Man, getting blown out on this Whip Quarter every time we talk about it.
3 cheers for Whip Quarter. Oh no.
Oh, what's he swords?
Ooh, and it's getting exiled. Like if it were just killed, he could put it on the bottom with Lin Civvy, but he only has 1 copy of the Whip Quarter.
I like.
So now I'm trying to think what the best answer in Tom's deck. I mean, other than Swords of Plowshares, like if there's a Rebel card that he can get to deal with the.
I don't think it's a rebel. He doesn't have like the pro white rebel. I don't even know if there was a pro white rebel. Man, that's really hard to say. Oh, he targeted the Lin Civvy.
Oh,
Interesting. I think I kind of agree with that, because, like I said before, he'll find something that that deals with a creature at some point. But you know, that Lin Civvy, if you leave it in play every turn, it adds a new thing to the board. You know.
Right. I mean, it's just at this point you're kind of back to like even, and if Tom draws any of his Lin Civvy sergeants type cards, then he's just kind of
but
ahead
Flynn's
again.
Playing off the top. He has no cards in hand right now, so like, he's not going to beat a Lin Civvy in play.
Yeah.
You know, a Lin Civvy in play basically amounts to like Tom drawing 2 cards a turn.
Well, I was just thinking like maybe he has a chance to race it, because he's not going to be dealing any damage with the Whip Quarter in play.
Yeah, but Tom's got to do something. right? I mean, if Tom doesn't have action in his hand now, which I think it's reasonable to think that he might not. Is that the 3/3 flyer?
Yeah, and I mean,
Ooh,
I mean,
getting in
well,
there.
it requires a white mana to tap, so it's like if he taps out,
Sure, sure.
then you might as well attack. But I don't know. I mean, like,
He's not scared.
I feel like I would just. I guess he's thinking because the Wasteland's available to Flint that he's afraid that if he leaves mana up, he's gonna get. Like, this is his opportunity to cast the Sergeant.
Maybe. Based on the way the game has gone, I don't feel like there's anything real good in Tom's hand. Yeah. And what's he got? He's got a sergeant and 2 lands.
See, I think I would have played the Sergeant and just tapped the Angel if that was my hand. But
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that case, but I think my point was just that I don't know what he's pointing at that guy for. Okay. Not sure I agree with that Wasteland there, but
well, I think it's to keep him off of using the Sergeant's ability or the Sky Marshal. Sorry.
oh, is the Sky Marshal a 5 mana activate?
It's a.
I mean, he knows he has 2 lands in his
Oh,
hand.
it's 7. It's 7 and gets a 6 or less.
Okay. I guess there's not really anything that will punish Flint. He only has 1 card in his hand. He has no cards in hand, so it's not like he's going to play 2 spells.
Yeah. So this Whip Quarter will keep the Exalted Angel at bay. Okay, here Engineer Plague. So
okay.
this.
Here comes the
I mean,
plague.
the Whip Quarter is going to stay around though.
Yeah.
And, I mean, and so does the Sky Marshal.
Yeah, but I think did you name Human or Rebels?
I don't know. Well,
I'll ask.
Yeah. You should just ask creature type question mark, and they probably would have thought you were joking.
Human.
Okay.
Human was the name.
Yeah. So again, the reasoning for that is to take out Mother of Runes.
Mother of Runes. Yeah.
But Defiant Falcon is now live.
Yeah. If you play a second one, you name Rebel with the second one, right?
Yes. I mean, the only other reason is to not do that is like Disenchant, playing around like Disenchant effects.
Sure.
Or maybe Shared Triumph.
I can't tell what that. Oh, Shared Triumph. Yeah. Okay.
So do you think he named humans or rebels? I mean, you name I guess yeah. Unless you like
he's gonna name the same thing that Flint did, right?
Well, I mean, there's a spot like if you had a falcon in your hand, then maybe you would name Rebel.
Sure.
Or if you determine that like Mother of Runes is not important, like if you took out your Mother of Runes for some reason, then
Human. Okay.
Thanks,
Tom. We appreciate you.
I'm just trying to come up with a conversation point. All right, where were we at for life totals? 15, 14. Okay. So yeah, the Engineer Plague and the
Masticore is not a great draw because there's not many cards in his hand to discard to the Masticore.
Yeah.
I mean, just
a human.
Like, I mean, just imagine if he had not vindicated that land and there was 1 less creature in play right now, right? Like, either the Whip Quarter would be dead or the Sky Marshal would be dead. And I think Flint is winning, both of those games. I mean, well, I guess he's probably not necessarily winning the game if it's the Whip Quarter, but like he's ahead, I think.
Yeah. And now, so it's interesting. So I wonder if that means that Tom took out the Jovial Queen because he attacked with the Sky Marshal and he has 7 mana up. I mean, I feel like
it could. I also don't like. What are you going to go get? Right, like
the Queen, the 4/7 Vigilance.
Yeah, I mean, he could also just get a Lin Civi, right?
Yeah.
Maybe he just thinks trying to close the game out faster is.
Yeah.
Because like if he he wants to still tap.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, that makes sense then.
Yeah. Look at us with our big brains figuring it out.
Gerrard's verdict. Okay.
Okay. So, I mean, 3 life, that's not the worst thing in the world at this point in time.
Yeah, I mean, also like getting a land is kind of relevant too. We talked about
Yeah.
that the whip quarter and the sergeant working together. But I
Yeah.
mean, if he doesn't have a land here, he does have the Mistress Factory that he can attack with, and so he's attacking for 5. So that's a pretty good chunk.
Yeah. He also could just like let Flint get one hit in to
Yeah,
like
sure.
to get a Lincivi and then be able to do it all.
Yeah.
Which I think might actually have been a better play. What do we got there?
I don't know. I'm fine with just attacking for 5. That is the Defiant Vanguard.
Okay.
Let me bring that one up.
So 2/2 that it's like 4 mana to get a 3/3 or less, I think.
It kind of has like
touch.
Well, yeah, death, kind of like Death Touch.
It has like the old bad version of Death Touch.
Like it's like a Basilisk ability. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it taps for 5 and gets a 4 or less. Okay. Yeah, so I think this was like the.
This is fine. Yeah, he must have just drawn that guy. In fact, we know he did because we watched him discard the last card of his hand to the verdict.
I guess this card's in the deck more for its ability and less for its like blocking ability and less for like the Rebel Surgeon, because I don't know why you would want to get this as compared to Lincivi. No. I was gonna say Meddling Mage, but then like that doesn't even apply because you could just use the ability to put Lincivi in play.
Yeah. It's probably just a good way to trade for a big monster.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. If you fall behind on board, that you can just tutor this guy out. And with like Lincivi, you can shuffle it back in and you always have that availability.
We got 3 game matches in this tournament?
Yeah, we're doing best of 3.
Okay. It's not looking great for Flint, so.
Nope. All right.
His other angels got pathed, right? Or
that was in game 1, I think.
Okay.
He ritualed it out and it got swords. He does add a Nantuko Shade. But I mean, if you look at his mana, he's got a Gemstone Mine, 2 Caves of Koilos, and a Swamp. So
he's in rough shape.
Not the best ability to pump that guy. Hey, and the Gemstone Mine only has 1 more counter, so.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what like Flint's best out here would be, but
it's I was gonna say Engineered Plague again, but there's still with the Shared Triumph in play, he's still like all the cards stay in play.
Yeah.
I don't think there's really much that he can do. So this is attack for 7, right?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah.
And the Nantuko Shade's gonna get in the way of
probably just the Rebel.
Defiant Vanguard.
Yeah.
And it looked like Flint like gestured to blocking, but maybe he's thinking about pumping. Oh, he blocked the land.
It's rough that one of the lands he has in play is a Gemstone Mine, because I think if it were okay, yeah, I don't think Flint has any outs at this point. That standstill shuts down. Like, what's he gonna do? Play a creature?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't like actually do anything to prevent Flint from doing stuff, but it just
like
I don't know. I don't think he needed to stand still at all. He's a Duress. Flint just wants to cast another spell before he dies, I think.
Standstill trigger goes on the stack. I mean, you get to see him. You get to see. And he whiffed too. Oof.
Mother of Runes.
Yeah.
Flint flops down a Nantuko Shade.
Yeah. I think a Masticore could have, before he like didn't have a 4th land, a Masticore could have got him out of this, I think.
Well, he would.
It could have shot down the Whip Quarter.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah. So all right. So Rebels takes it down. All right. Let's jump over to our screen and we can listen in to what the players have to say.
And then draw into like, another swords or a Vindicate or something to deal with your whip quarter, but it
I
just
suppose you turn their
never
volume
came.
back on then, huh?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was wondering if you were going to choose Lin City or Whip Quarter, but I don't know what was correct actually. I guess Lin City gets out of control at that point. Like I can flood the board, but then you have the flyer. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't think you can.
know. We should probably unmute them.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Hey guys.
All right.
Yeah,
Hey,
So we kind of just tuned in when you guys were talking about like choosing the Lin Civi over the Whip Quarter. I think we just caught the tail end of that.
yeah. I think you got to take out the Lin Civi there. Where the game is at, like, I don't think you're gonna have a bad time trying to like.
you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah, you're gonna have a bad time there. I think trying to like outrace that Lin Civi. There's too many cards that just make it a bad time. I guess on this one. But you were in a tough spot at that point, anyways. Like you didn't have a lot of good plays.
No,
Yeah.
and I don't know, like it's just we were talking earlier and you really just can't 1v1 rebels.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like how what Deadguy does is it 1v1s and then grinds out advantage with Arena or with Hypnotic Specter. And once he's got an active rebel on the board, it's just really, really, really hard from that
Yep.
point on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that
So
was one of the card we talked about, like you potentially boarding out is Gerrard's Verdict because of that. Because like if they have one of the rebels in play, like taking out their hand doesn't really do anything.
Yeah.
So maybe we were thinking maybe that was a card that you might have been taking out.
I thought about Verdict, I thought about Duress, and I thought about Dark Ritual. And I ended up going with Dark Ritual because I didn't think that there was going to be a turn one play that was going to matter that much other than maybe Phyrexian Arena, just because he has swords for the Spectre and I didn't want to get blown out. And Dark Ritual just doesn't do anything late game. Well, that's not true. It's very much less good. Duress, obviously, as you saw, misses a lot. But there still, is the possibility that I can hit a shared triumph or a standstill or a mana leak or, yes, some of those cards with it. I think he has 14 hits game one and then at least 16 game two, assuming he boards in the shared triumphs. And Gerrard's Verdict is always going to take out cards if he has cards in his hand. And I can also use it against myself to discard lands if I need to gain life. So that was my rationale. I don't know if it's correct. I'm not a Deadguy Ale player expert. But that was kind of my reasoning.
Yeah. How'd you sideboard, Tom?
Yes, I brought in 2 Chair Triumph. The Jovial Queen, it's
Okay.
like the worst card in the deck probably. I feel like every time I played this deck, I board it out. It's just like good game one. And then the Disenchant, no real targets except for like the Arena.
Yeah.
And then like the Plague, even though I know he's bringing an Engineered Plague, it's
Yeah,
like
the shared triumph.
I kept in 1 Disenchant. These are kind of like extra Disenchants per se anyway. So
yeah,
it was just like kind of a dead card, and these are just better.
Yeah,
I got lucky though. I top decked the Shared Triumph, so that was pretty lucky.
I mean, it's not like you were like cold in that situation. Like, I mean, like it would just
Yeah.
slow you down. Like you still had a board presence. Like a second engineer like makes things troublesome for you. But the first one, you were in a board state where it was just it slowed you down. But yeah.
Yeah, this match me and Flint were talking about it played out how I like anticipated though. Like if he's like the Jund deck 1-for-1, like he said, Rebels plays like a Vile deck, so it's like you can't like I feel like that it's just like this is a really good matchup for Rebels.
Yeah. Which is kind of funny because I feel like Rebels is one of the decks that a lot of people are drawn to when they get into Premodern and then they try it out and it underperforms a lot. Like I don't think it's that powerful a deck, and so it's probably pretty surprising for some of the people that filled out the brackets to see it going this far already.
Yeah, I think I do think though it's good against like Deadguy Ale or like the Rock. Like I feel like it's favored, and I feel like it's pretty good against land still. But then it's gonna like lose against like I don't know Burn and
everything
so many
else.
top decks.
Yeah.
But
It's for what it's worth. I think it's cool to see it go as far as it is because it is very nostalgic.
For sure.
And it's definitely not tier 1 in Premodern, But it can have some good tempo-y games for sure. And you're right, Tom. I think in certain matchups, it's definitely favored. Do you know what you're going to face after this? I don't know if we've figured out the other opponent
Yeah, I
yet.
got it up right now. It's gonna play against Stasis, which I actually think that might be horrible.
Yeah, it's probably not that great.
No, that might be really bad for Rebels. I don't know.
Your
That
jovial
Jovial Queen's
queen,
gonna put in some work.
Yeah, just get that queen on the board.
I don't think this is coming out.
No, I don't think it might get Chain of Vapored, but it's definitely gonna have some high aspirations. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Was
Yeah.
there any commentary you guys had on like the plays and stuff? I mean, I know earlier, like once he had Rebels on the board, I was like, I guess I'll try to take out his mana and hope he doesn't draw lands
Well,
because I
Yeah,
can't
I-
keep up.
there was a
I thought
spot
that
you
was-
you vindicated like after you had seen his hand with like 2 more lands. I guess was the thing. Like
Yeah.
it was pretty aggressive.
Yeah, and in that last game when you vindicated the land after you had Duressed him, at the end of that game, like there was a point in time where he had just a Whipcorder and the Sky Marshal in play, and if you had, either vindicated a creature earlier or saved that Vindicate until then, like you could have tried to race that Sky Marshal with your Exalted Angel. I just think like, especially when we're talking about how you're trying to grind them out one for one, and these games are going to probably drag on for a while. Unless you have something in play to pressure him, like a Nantuko Shade or something.
Yeah,
I don't think you can really afford to give up material for a land like that.
Yeah.
fair enough.
And even
Yeah,
like a card like the Shade gets shut down by so many cards like Mother of Ruins, the Glider, whatever that comes in. Oh, did you not bring that? Isn't there a pro black guy? Did you not bring that guy
did you
in?
not bring in your pro black rebel?
Yeah, no, I didn't bring it in just because I was like, I didn't know if that's how the game would kind of play out.
Okay. All right, we just assumed that was coming in.
His swords would get rid of it, and then
Yeah.
like I was feel like I'm more of the aggressor, and he's like the control deck. So I was like, I don't know if I want to be chumping with the 2/1 thing.
Okay.
I did consider it, but I didn't know what to cut. If there was
it's
another
not a
Jewel
chump.
Queen, I would have cut another Jewel Queen.
Listen, I kind of figured I was more of the beatdown in this matchup because the longer the game goes, the harder it gets for me.
Yeah, Mikey had suggested that maybe you want to bring in Phyrexian Negators.
Yeah, I mean,
specifically for that.
I think like the matchup's pretty bad, and maybe you just have to get lucky. And like, I mean,
Yeah.
if you're taking out rituals, obviously I'm not bringing in negators.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
Negator.
But turn 1 Ritual Negator is probably a pretty strong play.
I mean, there's still sorts of Plowshares. I mean, like you still can get shut down, but like,
Yeah,
I think maybe you. I don't know how many times you play this and like things go well if the games go long for Deadguy Ale. Like that might just be your best route to victory is to try and steal a random game really quick. I don't know.
fair enough. Yeah.
I mean, I
that's not
think
a bad point.
you need, I think to stay competitive, you need an arena or a really fast clock.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a tough matchup.
Yeah.
I don't think like going in, I said I didn't think you could ever beat a standstill. That card just seems like such a beating.
Yeah.
When he could just sit there and do nothing like that. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's a tough matchup for Deadguy, and you did what you could.
So
Fair enough.
thanks you guys for playing tonight. Do we want to talk about what we have in store tomorrow? You guys are playing again.
Yep.
You have the Devour deck versus the Pebbles combo deck. So 2 combo decks are going to be facing off each other. Tom's going to be playing Devour, and Flint's going to be playing Pebbles. So we're doing that at it's the same time we were planning on.
Same
it,
time.
right? Yep.
Yeah. Same bad time, same bad place.
So
And that channel.
we will have more Premodern starting tomorrow. We're going to start at the same time, and we'll all be back here, all 4 of us. So
Sweet.
we hope everyone that was here in the chat can join us again tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure.
And
I'll be here.
Yeah. And we will see you guys soon. So until
Awesome.
next
Thanks.
time, take care.
Thanks, everybody.
That's it.
Take care. Be good.